All right, here we are again. This time, it'll be the second part to my transfer station. Again, it is with my cross country team. This time, in the woods of Colorado, we embark from our humble small town to Colorado Springs, where we plan to have our first cross country trip since 2013, which was when the first story was written. But alas, if you read the first one, you should know that how this is going to end. Our new coach drops everybody but two runners at this desolate hotel slash mansion. The mansion is 3 stories tall, surrounded in a thick, ominous forest. Its exterior is not welcoming. The peeling paint in its statue graveyard is not very pleasing to the eye. The doors are 7 feet tall, so it seems, with a heavy iron door knocker on each. Picking it up and then slamming it on the door opens it. Creaking, the door slowly moves to show us its interior. The big lobby is magnificent. The white marble flooring freshly waxed, and the golden chandelier shimmered and glowed in the air, and the breathtaking upholstery was clean and well made. The large staircase in the middle of the lobby invited us to the second floor, yet we all know good things must end. Anyway, that was a little synopsis. I do have this posted on Wattpad. I say that weird. It's probably Wattpad, but I say Watt because you know how it is. All right, so chapter 1, so it's called Tragedies Awakening, No Holding Back. Chapter 1, Tragedies Pendant. 2 years later, Emma's point of view. A sophomore in high school, finally the events of my past have forgiven me. Our cross-country team, rebuilt, yet scarred forever. The ghosts of those we had lost in the canyon still appear in my dreams. Only Damaris, Byron, and I remain. Stephanie left heartbroken by the loss of Ethan. We were burned with the marks those monsters left on us. Mine has not awakened since then, nor have I tried to make it. We are on a bus leading from our humble town of Borger to the city of Colorado Springs, only to stop once to spend the night at a hotel. I look over to see Cammie peacefully sleeping, head against the window, and across the aisle is Damaris, laying down on the bus's seat. I turn my head towards the window, looking at the endless forest. The sounds of the bus are drowned out by my music, and only the voices in my head remain. Damaris's point of view. I look over to see Emma, turn her head away. I put my hand on my face and rub my eyes. Sunlight is peering in through the window, and the sky is becoming dark. This trip is making me nervous, I think. The first trip since then. My sisters Aurora and Tasia were lost to the canyon. Now all I have is my sister Jacinda and my brothers, Jacinda being the one on this trip. I sit up and lightly hit the back of my head on the seat. I look over and see Emma close her eyes slowly. The sounds of laughter fill the bus. The happy faces of everyone filled me with joy. I let out a sigh when the bus suddenly came to a stop, screeching in the process. Emma's point of view. My eyes jolted open as I flew forward and hit my head on the seat in front of me. Falling to the floor, I screamed, "Sweet Jesus, Mary and Christ!" I held my head in momentary pain on the bus floor. Damaris was laughing uncontrollably while calling me stupid. "Are you okay?" Cammie said, chuckling. She reached out her hand for me. Upon grabbing it, I grumbled, "Yeah, I'm fine. I just want to get off this stupid bus." We all gathered up our stuff and rolled out of the bus. While getting off the bus, I stepped on an odd-looking pendant-type deal. "Strange," I said. "What is?" Stevie said, basically tackling me from behind. "Oh, it's nothing at all," I blurted out, shoving the item into my shirt pocket. Absolutely nothing. Ooh. So that's chapter 1. Let's go chapter 2. Tragedies Call. Ooh. Emma's point of view. "It's kind of rustic," Adrian and Andreas, the twins, stated instinctively as they picked up their bags. "I don't know about you guys, but this looks like a lot of fun," Julian, an optimistic 7th grader, yelled, running up to the Victorian-era hotel. "Come on, guys, let's just hurry up and get to our rooms." "And Julian, hold up," Sean, a boy in my grade, said, speed walking with Tim, a junior, to catch Julian before he breaks something. "This should be really exciting," laughed Paloma and Jasmine, some of the pretty freshmen. "But I don't know if this will be exciting." maybe fun, but I guess if you like cobwebs and rats, supposedly, I thought. Damaris's point of view. Jacinda pulled me along with Tristan and Dawson, brother and sister power duo, into the hotel. Hey, wait up, I yelled, running to stand with Emma and Cammy. Finally making it to the front desk, the old creepy manager pushed up his tiny reading glasses. I'm sorry to say, young ladies, that we only have rooms which host 1 to 2 people. 1 to 2 people? In a mansion? It was very bizarre, but what can you do? Me and Emma then turned our attention to Cammy. If it isn't a problem, you guys can share a room, but personally, I would like some alone time, she said as she swiftly took the key from the old man. Fine then, be that way, Emma said jokingly. I elbowed her, but she just laughed. Usually she would pretend I stabbed her or something. She has been quiet lately. I stopped thinking for a moment to grab our key, but as we walked to our room on the first floor, I tried asking her what was wrong, and all she did was smile and say she was tired. Putting the key into the lock of the door, we entered the room. Alright. Emma's point of view. 1 second, get back to that. My cat's being a butthole. Come here. Come here. Oh, say hello. Say hello to you too, Pie. Oh, pretty baby. Go away. Alright. Anyway, Emma's point of view. It's like a Motel 8, only more elegant and dustier than normal, I said, throwing down my duffel bag. Where did the coach say he was going again? Next town over to get gas. I think he went with Deanna and Edgar, Damaris responded. Okay, but which Deanna and Edgar were we left with? Chavez and Hernandez? Great, I said. Leaving our conversation there, I laid on the dusty mattress. Taking the pendant out of my pocket, I decided to examine it. The thing itself was a skull on a cross, wearing a strange headpiece resembling the sun. It also had a shawl on that looked of Aztec design. But why would something like that be in Colorado forests? Shoving the pendant into my duffel bag, I closed my eyes. It wasn't often that I could just close them, because often I would see their faces. You know, I stated, eyes still closed. This is the first big trip since, you know. I know. I opened my eyes and glanced at Damaris unpacking her bag. Do you still hear them? I paused. No, that's not right. Do you still see them? That was the question I truly wanted to be answered. After a moment, she looked up at the ceiling. Occasionally. Not as much anymore. The room fell silent until a knock came to the door. I got it, I said, lifting myself out of the bed. Who is it? I opened the door, and there stood Edgar and Deanna. Who is it? Damaris said, curiously, walking to stand behind me. We're doing a head count, so go to the lobby, Deanna said, checking our names off a clipboard. Now, she said rudely, proceeding down the hall and through the stairwell. See you guys, Edgar said, waving goodbye. What's up her butt? I said, scoffing. I don't know, Damaris whispered, slipping on her shoes. I chuckled and puffed my chest out. Well, hurry up! Can't you see I'm very busy? Damaris laughed and poked my side. Come on, idiot. Let's go before we get yelled at again. As everyone piled into the large lobby, there was a small click that could be heard faintly over all our voices. Soon, all the lights went off. A screech echoed throughout the building. When our voices fell, so did our hearts. Ooh, so that's chapter 3. Here's chapter 3. Exciting business. Alright. Tragedies loss. With the disappearance of sight, panic arose in the runners. Except the real panic was in the minds of those traumatized before. The frantic team members screamed and ran around in a panicked frenzy. In less than 3 minutes, the lights came back on, causing the horrified students to become hushed. Suddenly, Anahi wailed. Turning towards her, we saw 2 bloody trails leading under the wooden staircase. Emma's point of view. Damaris, I whispered, grabbing her arm. Exchanging looks, we finally gained enough courage to follow the trails. Walking slowly to the dimly lit underbelly of the woebegone stairs, to our horror, what we found was too unbearable to speak of. Byron's POV. Hey guys! 4 minutes had passed since Damaris and Emma had left. I'm getting really nervous. Damn it, I can't just stand here. Turning to the group, everyone, stay here, I'm gonna go see what's holding them up. Following the trail, I see Damaris and Emma whispering quietly to themselves. Hey, what's taking so... Holy fucking Jesus, what the hell? I covered my mouth at the thought of vomiting at the sight. Before my very eyes were the shredded remains of Edgar and Diana. Damaris's point of view. Byron came around the corner, and before we could tell him to leave, he yelled in disgust. Who the hell could do this? He said angrily, bent over like he was about to vomit. Emma turned to face me. The most fucked up part is, she stopped, probably unable to continue the horrible words. Their heads are missing. I finished hesitantly, my stomach churning at the words. No fucking way. His voice cracked. This can't be happening. This can't be fucking happening. Not again, he stood up, putting his hands behind his head. Why does it have to be us? Like, this could have happened to anybody, but why us? Silence fell between us, and I looked over to see Emma gritting her teeth. Em? God damn it, Emma burst, stomping back to the rest of the group. Look what you've done, I said to Byron as I chased her. What did I do? Byron said in a hushed tone, trailing behind me. Emma's point of view. Anger overwhelmed me, but soon faded when I met the faces of my teammates. Why? Why just when everything started to get normal? Just when we had built up a new cross-country team? Just when I was finally able to let go of my cursed past? What's going on? Tyler, a junior, said as he stepped forward from the group. Who is it? The blood, I mean, Stevie, a freshman, blurted, panic in her voice. Emma? Looking back, I saw that Damaris and Byron had caught up to me. I could see her anxiousness in the situation. My eyes pointed towards the marbled floor. Sighing, I looked back to the group. It's Diana and Edgar. My voice came out slightly choked. They're dead. Decapitated, actually. What the hell do you mean? Mario yelled over everyone's chattering. What the fuck do you think she's talking about? Briley said, pushing Mario out of the way. Where do you think you're going? Byron said, grabbing his arm. You're scaring everyone. I don't know what you're talking about, but because everyone is scared out of their minds already, Briley said, pulling his arm out of Byron's grip. And believe it or not, I'm not here to die. Climbing the stairs, everyone looked away. What an ass, Jeremiah said to Tanley. So, a 10-minute time lapse. It was silent. Damaris and myself and Byron were discussing a course of action to take and who should go calm Briley down. Suddenly, screaming could be heard up the second floor. It was Briley. He came around the corner and started running down the stairs. Everyone run! Her! His voice stopped as a tall, pale, anorexic monster grabbed his neck and swiftly pulled his head off of his body. Everyone's voices came to a stop at the shock of what just happened. The monster looked up, dropping his head, making it tumble down the stairs. Thunk. 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 The sound of his head falling after each and every step. Only till at the end of the staircase did his head roll and hit my feet. Nobody moved as panic set in. Taking a few steps towards the monster, screeching, it lunged down. Taking a few forward steps, the monster screeched and lunged down the staircase at us. Everyone run! Jaden yelled, jumping to duck under the reception desk. Terror and panic arose as everyone ran for their lives. Wait, my words barely came out. Being pushed and shoved, I fell to the ground. Soon I was trampled, blacking out. All I remember is repeating those last words. So, now to chapter 4. Alright. For visual effect, if you want to know what I'm thinking about for the monster, it is supposed to look like the Wendigos from the Until Dawn video game. So if you want to look that up, or whatever, I'll probably put it as the thumbnail to this video, actually. Anyway, chapter 4, Tragedies beginning. Emma's point of view. Emma, I heard a faint voice call. Emma! Opening my eyes, I see Damaris shaking me. Thank God you're awake. For a minute there, I thought you were a goner. What happened? I said groggily in response, sitting up as I do so. We were attacked, but I managed to grab Jacinta, Julian, Ben, Alan, and Ryan. She paused. But about the others, I have no idea where anyone is. They all scattered. Looking at the scared middle schoolers, I sighed, then back at Damaris. What room is this? What? You heard me. Now answer, I said, sort of in a snappy tone. Well, we're in the dining hall. I closed all the doors so we should be relatively safe, she stated proudly. It's too big. We are probably open to an attack from whatever that was, I said, grunting as I stood up. How so? Damaris said, walking next to me. I walked to the 14-feet windows, patting them lightly. Looking out of them, you could look down the valley of trees and darkness. Looking down was at least a 20-foot drop. Although large and heavy, with enough force, these things could break. Turning my head towards Damaris, she looked out the window, her breath fogging up the glass. Then we need a place with no windows, small but large enough for the team, and a place with multiple exits. What about the pool? Looking back, we saw the 7th grader shuffling over ever so slightly towards us. What? I said, looking at Julian, prodding him to continue. Well, he started trying to gather enough courage to finish. When we got here, me and Ben wanted to look around a bit before dinner, and we found the pool room. Yeah, and the pool room was drained. There were no windows, and we could all totally fit in there, Ben said excitedly, trying his best to keep his voice down. Turning to Damaris, I raised an eyebrow, inquisitively asking her for her opinion. How about the exits? She said, only leaving mine after a couple seconds. She said, eyes only leaving mine after a couple seconds. 3. One goes into the woods and the other 2 open up to 2 different hallways, Julian busted out quickly, hands moving around at his sides. Damaris slowly looked back to me, cocking her head to the side. That sounds all right to me. We should go find the others as well. Emma? She stopped upon seeing my face go dark. You guys should go. I should be the one to find the others, I stated matter-of-factly as I turned to leave. Wait, Damaris said, all but huffing angrily. Are you trying to get yourself killed? We both know what happens when you try to play the hero. She grabbed my arm tightly in the hopes of stopping me. It's fine, Dee, I whispered as I touched the hand on my bicep. Besides, what about Jacinda? She needs you more than me. Her grip loosened and her hand all but fell to her side. I won't be gone more than 20 minutes. Can you be happy with that? Her hand tightened into a fist. Okay. She paused, thinking about what to say next. Landing on an I'll see you soon, I smiled as I turned to slip back into the pitch-black hallway. Damaris's point of view. Emma had been gone but a few seconds when my mind started to race. After Tasia and Aurora, she had become a crutch for me and my family. All things considering, besides the nightmares and the obvious mental suffering I could see on a daily basis, Emma was a rock. She never let the transfer station change her, while me, Stephanie, and Byron all had to stay in the hospital to be psychically evaluated for a couple weeks. Emma seemed to have convinced her doctor that all she needed was some anxiety medication and sleeping pills, leaving the hospital after only 2 weeks. Yet she came back to sit with all of us in what felt like a little padded cell, to hold our hands, listen to our dreams, and in general, be a silent companion. We all loved her dearly, and felt bad for always unloading on her. After all the baggage we gave her, sometimes I wonder if she still carries it. I wish she would just lean on me like she did in the past. Before I could think any further, Jacinda grabbed my hand. Gulping, I now realized my duty. I had to protect the middle schoolers. Okay, guys. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to stay very close to me. Julian, I need you to be our guide, so come up to the front. Everyone gathered around. Nodding, I opened the door to one of the numerous hallways, squinting because of the dark. Stay close, I repeat, as we tiptoed down the hallway, hugging the wall. The old wooden boards beneath our feet creaked under our weight. When we managed to find a cross-section, a loud thud echoed from the left. To the left. Stopping in our tracks, I reached behind me to find Jacinda's hand. Shh, don't move, I breathed out. Suddenly, a white blur could be seen jumping from wall to wall in the shadows, slowing its movements to a halt right in front of me. Its white, distorted face closing in as hot, steaming breath brushed across my face. We all seemed to be holding our breath, not daring to flinch or even make a sound. After what seemed like an eternity, the monster went back to sprinting down the hallway, making horrible scream-like grunts as it went. Whew. Sighing, I waved a hand to the others so we could continue our journey. Another 5 minutes or so, and we finally found the pool. Okay, everyone, go into the janitor closet, and please, I will not repeat this for fuck's sake. Do not move or make any sounds. I turned after giving my orders, heading for one of the exits. Where are you going? Jacinda exclaimed worriedly. Emma's been gone longer for 20 minutes. I have to find her and the others. I couldn't look her in the face as I shut the door and continued down yet another dark corridor. Within 10 minutes, I managed to find stairs leading up to the 2nd floor. After basically crawling up the stairs, I look around the hallway to see the lights flickering on and off. Room to room, both locked and empty. Deciding this was a dead end, I climbed to the 3rd floor. There, about every other light was on. The paintings from the wall had fallen, and scratches in the wallpaper peppered the walls. A faint whisper could be heard from behind one of the doors. Walking to the middle of the corridor, I managed to pinpoint which door it was. Putting my ear against it, I could only make out some of the conversation. It sounded like Tim and Sean silently arguing. All right, into chapter 4. And I wrote the last part of that last night, but I want you to know that most of that chapter I finished in 2016. I haven't visited the story since then. I'm a horrible writer. I know. All right. Chapter 5, and the last one for tonight. Tragedies, Incompetence. Emma's point of view. It is times like these I'm glad I got Lasix. Damn the dark, but thank God it was just dark and not the added touch of blur I used to deal with. This mansion's hallways were never ending, it seemed, and the whole building creaked as if one good gust of wind would blow it down. I creep around for what feels like 40 minutes, cringing when I remembered my promise to Damaris. It isn't like I don't know we are a team, but I needed to concentrate on finding the others and possibly signaling for help. If I stayed with Damaris, I would only worry about her and Jacinda's safety. They were practically family, for Christ's sakes, and I couldn't go through watching them die. It was selfish, but it feels like I've been slowly reaching my breaking point these last 2 years. A sharp intake of breath was then heard from behind me, and before I could whip around, a hand was put over my mouth while the other grabbed at my arms. Another set of hands was felt grabbing my legs, and soon enough I was hoisted up. I kicked and fought, but to no avail, as I was brought up a flight of stairs. Entering the hallway from the stairwell, I could see who my captors were. Tim and Sean? Why the hell are they doing this? Did they think I'd scream if we bumped into each other in the dark? Before I could question further, we entered a room where I thought I was going to be let go. Yet they proceeded to tie up my hands, and my head was swirling with questions and from a probable concussion from being trampled on earlier. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" I all but blurted out. They looked at each other before Tim came to sit in front of me. "Is it true?" he asked, as if I knew what the hell they were thinking. "Is what true? That you two are complete idiots?" "Then yes," huffing out in bewilderment. "Your arm, jackass. Can you really perform some black magic shit with it?" Or Sean continued, babbling incoherently. "How did you know about that?" Silence filled the room. "Everyone knows you're crazy, Emma, along with the other 3. No way would a murdering psychopath and a little girl murder everyone in the canyons. But with this monster, whatever it is, running about, we thought you might not be that crazy," Tim piped up, seeming proud of his answer. "Sure, dumbass. But how do you know about my arm?" I gave again, hoping the message was clear this time. "My mom was one of your nurses 2 years ago. She told me you talked in your sleep about a black and blue light that allowed you to kill people after engulfing your arm." Sean pointed to your arm. To others it seemed like a regular tattoo, but it was far from that. "Whatever happened to doctor-patient confidentiality?" I sighed. I had a bad feeling about what they were going to ask. I felt sick to my stomach as they both started arguing over who was right and how to get me into the same room with the monster. Then a feather-like touch was felt on my hand. "Emma." My name was called so quietly that it felt as though I had made it up entirely. "Use it on the rope." Again the voice trailed across my thoughts, leaving a bitter taste in my mouth. Careful not to alarm the boys, I shifted against a bed to hide the faint blue glow emanating from my arm. The mystic lettering trailed down my skin as it burned its way through the ropes. I thought it would kill me to use that power again, but now all I felt was a swell of pressure in my heart, adrenaline pumping back in as I thought of an escape plan. Before I could do anything, the door busted in, and Damaris came running in with a metal piece to what looked like a picture frame. Damaris's POV, point of view. Listening in a bit longer, I could hear a female voice that sounded upset. "Emma, it had to be." Making out a few more words, I could tell they were talking about her arm. Out of the others, Emma was the most scarred physically because of that damn tattoo. The weird black lettering wrapped around her right arm and fingers, making it impossible for teachers to take her seriously, as well as making it hard to find a job. We were the only 2 to get marks, mine only being one symbol of a tree against my left palm. Both of us woke up that night bleeding from the marks that seemed to be etched into our skin, wondering why us, out of everyone else, got them. Breaking from my thoughts, I heard Sean mutter the word sacrifice. Almost losing my shit right there, I looked for a weapon. Anything I could use. After fumbling around the hallway for a minute, I decided on a corner piece to a metal picture frame. It may not bludgeon them, but with one good hit, the metal could cut them pretty bad. Making my way to the door, I planted my back against the wall, trying to get a good running start to break it down. 1 breath, 2, and I was shouldering the door with all of my strength. Luckily, the wood was almost rotted, and it only took one good hit and the door busted in. Tim and Sean looked shocked as I ran at them holding the frame above my head. Cowering, Sean jumped into the bathroom while Tim attempted to follow. However, as I swung down, his leg caught on the metal, tearing the skin. He screamed so loud, I'm sure the monster must have heard. All I could hear was my heartbeat in my ears, pounding endlessly as I grabbed Emma and ran out the door. Tim's howling could still be heard by the time we found the stairwell, as well as that familiar grunting sound of the monster sprinting our way. Damaris, what are you? I quickly put my hand over her mouth. As we ducked into the corner of the stairwell, stay very still, I quickly whispered. She did just that, and the thing slowed around us before Tim let out another scream, and it continued towards them. I let go of her mouth, and we hurried back down to the first floor. We found ourselves back in the main entrance, blood still fresh on the marble. We need to talk, now, Emma said, pulling back on my shoulder and motioning towards the concierge room. After closing the door, we were greeted by the horrible stench of the old man who checked us in only 2 hours earlier. Obviously disgusted but unwilling to let any more time pass, Emma turned back to me. How did you know to stay still? She said, breath shaking. When we separated, that thing found us in the hallway. We were just frozen in fear and held our breaths, and it didn't do anything. Almost like it couldn't see us, I hurriedly explained. Okay, well, at least we have something working towards us. She stopped momentarily, then continued. Tim and Sean knew about our power. Well, at least about me. They wanted to use me in an attempt to kill that thing. Were they crazy? That would most definitely not work, and you'd die. I could not believe what I was hearing, but before I could complain further, Emma held up her hand. The thing is, I didn't think it was all too crazy. Seeing the bewilderment in my eyes, she continued. No, honestly, hear me out. Obviously, just throwing me in a room with that thing would get me killed. But what if we tried incapacitating it, and then used my power? You gotta be fucking kidding me. You've seen how fast that thing moves. Yeah, but it decided to fuck with the whole cross-country team. State-winning cross-country team, might I add. I'm not saying we should all run, but I'm pretty fast, Damaris. I could at least distract it while you load the bus with the others. That's if the bus comes back. And if we can find everyone else, and if they aren't all thinking the same thing as Tim and Sean. I quietly yelled at her. Emma's point of view. I could see where Damaris was coming from, but something just felt like I had to do this. Hey, I get it. Let's just consider it as a last resort if that thing needs to be distracted from the group. After a few beats of silence, she replied, Fine. But only, and I mean only, Emma, as a last resort. Okay. Okay then. We continued to sit in silence till the stench of the old man became too heavy. Let's go find the others. We walked back out into the open, careful in case we heard anything. Do you know which way Byron went? I whispered, nudging Damaris's arm. Honestly, I thought I saw him and some others run outside. Outside? It's fucking freezing. I mean, we are in the mountains, for Christ's sake. I know, but they definitely ran that way. We should head to our room and change into warmer clothes. Agreeing to that, we walked past the grand staircase and down the left hallway. Never have I been happier to get a hotel room on the first floor. Do you still have our key? Yeah, just a second, Damaris said while digging in the pockets of her baggy jeans. After the third pocket, she pulled it out and unlocked the door. Quickly, we made our way to our suitcases and pulled out new outfits. Damaris changed into a thick pair of black jeans, an insulated white sweater that swallowed her frame, and a pair of black boots, and her huge black winter jacket on top of it. In tandem, I changed into a pair of gray jeans, orange combat boots, a sweater with my favorite plaid button-up over it, and my thick white parka with a fur hood. Here, take one of my beanies. I held my hand out to her with a white beanie while I wore an orange one. Thanks. I'm glad Mom forced me to bring warmer clothes, she stated, pulling the beanie over her black curly hair. Suddenly, our heads turned towards the door when crashing sounds could be heard in the hallway. I would have opened it to see if it were one of our teammates, but that familiar chattering sound could be heard. The window, Emma. Hurry! Following her orders, I hastily opened the window, and together we ran out into the woods. All right. Wow, 30 minutes. I cannot believe that took 30 minutes. Only like 4,000 words. The cats are fighting. You want to see? They're fighting each other. Don't mind my messy room. Some jeans on the ground. Oh, they're going away from each other. Taking a break. Anyway, that was chapters 1 through 5 of Tragedies Awakening, No Holding Back. I will try to get out another 5 chapters. But considering that I'm going back into it, and I have more writing experience than I did in my sophomore year of high school, they are probably going to be pretty long. Anyway, tell me what you think. I hope you liked it. Peace out. And if you want to read it for yourself, I'll post my Wattpad in the description. Peace out.